The biggest football news in recent days, aside from Jurgen Klopp announcing he will leave the Liverpool at the end of the season, and perhaps Bayern Munich's struggles under Thomas Tuchel, is now the talk of a new rule that will forever change the game of football and how we know it. It's the introduction of the blue card. We all know about the red and yellow cards, of course, but for sure, it's a new thing for most of us. We know little about this card that has kicked quite a storm in recent days. The blue cards are set to be introduced as part of a trial from the International Football Association board, which means we might see other new rules introduced as well. Well, it might shock you to learn that the blue card, or the sin bin rule, has been around for a number of years. Yep, you heard that right, and we'll get into that. So what exactly are blue cards and how will they work? Players committing cynical fouls or those dissenting will be shown blue cards, leading to a 10-minute suspension from the field. The recipient of the blue card will have to sit in the technical area, which is what is referred to as the sin bin, for the 10 minutes. Cynical fouls can take the form of a deliberate trip, pull, or obstruction committed by a player with the primary purpose of stopping an opponent's attack or preventing a potentially dangerous situation for the opposing team. Simply put, they are committed out of frustration, tactical necessity, or to disrupt the flow of the game. It is also expected that more tackles or offences that are not in range of red cards but more serious than yellow card offences could result in blue cards. This will also see a player avoid a 3-match suspension for a serious foul. However, given the gravity of the offence compared to a yellow card, a player might still face a ban even after receiving a blue card. After the player has been shown a blue card, he or she will not be allowed to be substituted or partake in the action until the 10-minute suspension is over. This system closely resembles the sin bin concept in hockey, where players receive green, yellow and red cards, resulting in timeouts of 2, 5 and 10 minutes respectively. Who comes to mind when you think of such fouls? Casemiro? Sergio Ramos? We have a perfect example though. We all remember that shirt by Giorgio Chiellini on Bukayo Saka in England's Euro 2020 final defeat by Italy. Well, according to IFAB, that foul, which saw the Italian defender receive a yellow card, was worthy of a 10-minute dismissal. So referees will make use of their judgment to identify cynical fouls and take appropriate disciplinary action. The aim, according to IFAB, is to discourage players from engaging in deliberate fouls that go beyond the normal course of gameplay and fair competition. Chelsea manager Mauricio Pochettino, though, does not see it that way and is among the managers who have ridiculed the proposed change, saying it only complicates things, especially for referees. The interpretation is going to be very difficult all at the same time. We're already talking a lot about VAR, and with the blue cards, or whether it's a yellow or red, is still too much. It will be difficult to be consistent with the decisions. These people are working at trying to change football or to add some rules that I don't know if it'll benefit the game. The interpretation of the referee when to apply the red, yellow or blue. What happens with the goalkeeper? Pochettino is not the only one to have raised concerns over the proposed new cards. Klopp too has made his thoughts known, speaking after Liverpool's clash against Burnley, in which he was shown a yellow card. He said, "It was emotional, definitely. Imagine in this game and the referee has a blue card available. It would have been the Wild West. There were so many yellow cards today. I lost it in that situation, so fine, give me a yellow card, as long as I don't get a blue one and have to sit somewhere for 10 minutes. In the current rules as we know them, red cards remain the highest order of punishment, as it can result in a 1, 3 or more match suspension for a player. Yellow cards are the second highest order of punishment and could result in a ban for the player after picking up several during the course of the season. The introduction of blue cards could see this order change, replacing yellow cards as the second highest order of punishment, since a player will temporarily be off the pitch rather than staying on the pitch despite receiving a card. To muddy the waters even further, there will also be the possibility to mix colours. If a player returns from the sin bin and receives another blue card, that would result in a red card, meaning they would be permanently dismissed from the game. A combination of one yellow and one blue, meanwhile, would also make it red. Do you remember us saying the card is not new and it's been around for some time now? Well, the blue card has been hiding in the rulebook for some years now, even though not in the exact form as what is being currently proposed. It is mentioned many times in the FA's official rulebook. To quote, a player temporarily suspended from play will be shown a blue card by the match official and informed that he or she shall be suspended from play for 2 minutes. If this is anything to go by, players' discipline on the field towards opposition players and officials is expected to improve in the top leagues, where indiscipline cases are said to have increased in recent seasons. The card stands between the red and yellow card and has been used for some time now in the youth and lower league football. Here, the referee is even allowed to use a second blue card, which means a longer temporary suspension for the player. Sin bins have been trialled in amateur and youth football and deemed a successful way of dealing with dissent, according to FA Chief Executive Mark Bullingham, who sits on the board of the IFAB. The success of sin bins in the grassroots game has been prevention rather than cure, he said in December. You get to a point where players know the threat of sin bins, so don't transgress, and we would hope that it would make the same change higher up the game. Well, there are numbers backing up the proposal of these cards. According to stats, since the blue cards or the sin bin were introduced partially in 2018, Football Association has reported a total of 38% reduction in dissent cases. There are more concerns about the blue cards. At times, sin bins might go beyond 10 minutes. It's understood any player shown a blue card in the final 10 minutes of a half will not be allowed to return until the conclusion of that period, even if there is an extensive amount of time added on. And this got former Liverpool striker Stan Collymore furious. A player makes a tackle with 10 minutes left to play, that's a clear foul, but it's not bad enough to warrant a red card, so what happens? The ref shows him a yellow card. He has effectively been given a final warning and punished for making a poor challenge. Now, imagine another player playing the same game swears under his breath at the ref's decision. Admittedly, officials need to be shown respect, but what is worse? The poor tackle or the use of foul language? The answer is obviously the poor tackle, but with the introduction of a blue card, it would be the player swearing who receives the harsher punishment. Although that player would have been shown a blue card for swearing, he would have effectively been sent off because there were just 10 minutes left to play. That is the kind of scenario where the new rule falls flat on its face. Not even goalkeepers will be spared, as they too will be eligible to be shown a blue card just like outfield players. If implemented across Europe's top leagues, blue cards will be the first major disciplinary change since the introduction of yellow and red cards back in 1970. What we know is that despite the backlash from fans, managers and pundits, the International FA Board will most likely push for global trials of 2 different sin bin schemes next month. The Football Association is reportedly ready to explore the possibility of using the FA Cup as part of the trials process, though FIFA have since said that it would be premature to involve elite competitions in the trials. FIFA wishes to clarify that reports of the so-called blue card at the elite level of football are incorrect and premature. Any such trials, if implemented, should be limited to testing in a responsible manner at lower levels, a position that FIFA intends to reiterate when this agenda item is discussed at the IFAB AGM on 2nd March. Read a statement on their social media. UEFA, though, seems to be reading from a different scripture, if their president, Alexander Seferin's comments are anything to go by. The Slovenian has expressed discontent, describing the idea as the death of football. Tottenham Hotspur boss Ange Postecoglou, just like many Premier League managers, is not happy. Just bin the whole idea, forget about it. I don't know why they keep interjecting themselves into the game. One team being down to 10 men for 10 minutes. You know what it's going to do to our game? It's going to destroy it. You're going to have one team just sitting there trying to waste time for 10 minutes, waiting for a guy to come back on. The remedy is there. Show a yellow card or send someone off. It's there in the rules. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta is, however, open to the idea. I don't know if we're ready for that yet. Hopefully it's going to be tested very well before they introduce it at this level, he said. I think everything has been done with the intention to simplify football, to try to improve decisions that are hard to make in a split second. Hopefully everything is done to improve the game, and if that's the case, then let's try it. Even as the push for the new rule to be trialed gathers pace, one thing that is yet to be agreed on is whether the referees will carry the blue cards and the precise details of how the whole idea will work. Maybe the rule will bring some sanity to the beautiful game that we all love, as it will force players to be on their best behaviors at all times. On the other hand, it looks like the issuance of a blue card will not be subject to a VAR review, meaning the on-field referee's decision to send a player to the sin bin will be final. With this in mind, football might descend into a farce if a number of players are sent to the sin bin. Remember the match between Tottenham and Southampton, where the referee issued 13 yellow cards? Half of those fouls would have qualified for blue cards. Imagine the scenes when you have like 5 players out. It's your turn now. Let us know what you think of this rule. Will it be any beneficial, or as Klopp says, it will be Wild West? Let us know in the comments below.